Hey, scrappy people, it's Tracy Reed here today, coming at you with a 12 by 12 layout using my new My Story Matters collection, and I am starting in Photoshop with some digital mixed media. I'm going to arrange this digital mixed media around the photo that I know I want to use, and I'm going to print it directly on this 12 by 12 cardstock. I'm going to remove the photo first, and I'm going to print it directly through my printer on 12 by 12 cardstock. If you do not have a 12 by 12 printer, you can also do this on 8.5 by 11 cardstock, and then sort of mat your mixed media embellishment on regular 12 by 12 scrapbook paper that you have in your stash. And I'm just creating a preset here so that my printer will print on the 12 by 12. I've never actually printed 12 by 12 on my 12 by 12 printer before, so I had to set up the whole thing from scratch, and I'm just removing the margins because it can print to the whole page. And then I'm going to print it on Basil Marshmallow cardstock at photo quality best, because that will give me the best color, and you can see that this is what it looks like when it's all printed. It came out perfectly. I printed my photo separately so that I could layer it right over that cute painted frame in the middle, and now I'm going to build my layout around it. I also printed out one of the journal cards from the My Story Matters collection with my journaling already printed on it. I wanted it to have that typewriter look because of the newsprint in the background, and also I wanted to tell a bit longer of a story than I could with my larger handwriting. Now, I don't want to detract too much from the mixed media, since that is the crux of the whole layout. So I'm just adding some of the stickers from the sticker set in the collection around the edges of the photo and the journaling card, and I'm going to incorporate some of them into the actual mixed media too, so that they look part of it. So I did design part of this layout besides the mixed media in Photoshop before I moved over to real life. With just the stickers, I just started placing them around so that I would have an idea of where I wanted things to go. But then, of course, because once I started playing, things changed, and so I moved things around differently than where they were before. I always seem to diverge from the plan once I actually start scrapbooking, but that's okay, because I actually really like the way that it came out a lot better. I love the way that those documented and recorded circles echo the circles in the mixed media. So I've got the basic layout done here, and I'm not going to add any large titles or anything to detract from that mixed media. Again, I don't normally do this. If you watch my scrapbooking at all, you'll know I do not normally use white space. I love color, I love pattern. I work so hard on the patterned papers for my collections that even when they're not my collections, I really respect that designer's work, and so I go all in on the patterned papers then as well. But for this one, I just had a vision of this really clean and simple white background and mixed media and nothing else. I wanted it to be super clean and really focus on that photo. That is why the photo is dead center in the middle of the layout as well. And everything about this layout really draws your eyes to the photo, from the diagonal composition to the fact that it is a sort of darker photo than the rest of the layout, right? So it has a bit of a heavier visual weight than the rest of the layout. And then also the way that everything frames the picture, everything leads your eye right to that center photo, which is exactly what I wanted, because I really, really adore this photo of Joe. And the story that I'm telling about this photo is that when I was his age, I think I might have been 14 because I was a freshman in high school. But when I was his age, and he's a freshman in high school as well, but I was 14 and he's 15. Anyway, when I was his age was the first time that I picked up a camera, and of course it was film back then, but it started a lifelong love affair with photography and storytelling in a way that I don't think that I ever, looking back at it, I don't think anyone could have imagined where picking up that camera when I was a freshman in high school for photography class would have led me. So the photo, or the story about this photo, is how I was his age when I picked up a camera for the first time, and he's showing an interest in photography as well. And even though who knows whether or not the interest will last, I mean, he is a 15-year-old boy after all, just seeing this photo and answering his questions about manual mode on the camera and watching him take photo after photo, mostly of me because there was nothing else to take photos of while he was playing, really warmed my heart, and I really enjoyed it in a way that I didn't think that I would, or that I had never imagined that I would, because my kids have always had a camera in their face because of my love for photography, so they've never really seemed too interested about or in photography at all. So the fact that he was interested enough to play around with the camera and all of that, it made me happy, right? So I have finished up putting everything down on this layout, and I felt like I needed a few more things, a few more die cuts, and I'm just going to add in a few of these little hearts because I felt like they incorporated into the mixed media pretty well. So I'm just sort of scattering them around and trying to figure out where I want them to go in a way that doesn't detract from the layout. And I couldn't figure out a place to put the third one that I really liked. So I'm going to incorporate this one here, and then the pink one down at the bottom. But I didn't know what I was going to do with this navy one. Also, I wanted to take a moment and talk about this collection. I have already uploaded a layout with this collection, and the theme of the collection is telling your own story and how your story matters. And I wanted to talk about how, even though I'm scrapbooking a photo of my kid, I still told a story about me and how this photo relates to me and my childhood, and the memories that it evoked for me. So even when you're using a photo of somebody else, you can still tell your own story. So I'm pulling in some Cocoa Daisy enamel dots because these teal ones matched so well that I couldn't resist. So this is the last layer of sort of depth that I'm adding to this mixed media to give it a little bit more realism and have a little bit more fun with it. And then I was thinking about the title, and I liked the 15, but it was just sort of hanging out there and not really feeling like a title, not really feeling incorporated into the layout as well either. So I was kind of struggling with what I wanted to do there. So I'm going to actually use those black word strips over on the right hand side there that I just happened, or the left hand side, that I just happened to pull out with the enamel dots. So I'm kind of looking at them now going, will any of this actually work with this layout? And I saw one that said, "This reminds me of," and so I decided to use that one. And so I'm going to incorporate it into the title with the 15, and I'm going to handwrite, "This reminds me of me at." So I'm going to handwrite "me at." And I really like the little tiny pop of black because the rest of this is navy, but I do like the tiny pop of black with the embellishments because he's wearing black and the camera's black and all of that. So it didn't look like it was clashing with the navy at all. And then I think it really anchors and grounds that photo and that cluster as well, and really finishes it off in a way that just leaving that 15 there wouldn't have. But that is it for this video. I'm just going to write over this with pen. I initially used this pen, but it was out, of course, so I'm going to use a Tombow marker, I believe, to finish this off. Anyway, so if you enjoyed this video, I'd love it if you give it a thumbs up. If you're new here, go ahead and subscribe. I would love to have you. If you don't already, you can follow me over on Instagram. I'm at Traci M. Reed. I'd love to see you over there as well. Let me know if you've ever considered printing out digital mixed media for your layouts in the comment section below, or if this is a whole new world for you and now maybe you're considering it. All right. Thank you.